and Bernstein Unfiltered. Unfiltered on 312 Sports.
It's DBU on 312. We are brought to you in partnership with Chicago Window Guys and Russ Armstrong. He's the owner, and it makes things easy when you can call him, and he's in charge of everything. 847-302-9171. Check out his 5-star reviews at chicagowindowguys.com. I'm really bummed about the death of Stacey King at age 59. Reportedly at this point from a fall in his home. And it really sunk in, talking to when I had to send, Jason a message overseas and realizing that he doesn't know another Bulls voice.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. That's his whole life as a Bulls fan. He's 21 years old. His entire life as a Bulls fan, the voice providing the fun and the color and the energy and the instruction, which we're going to get to, has been that of Stacey King. Going all the way back to as long as we can remember it, as long as I could find pictures of us, watching Bulls together I remember when he was pretending to be Kirk Heinrich and he went back in the basement and he hit his head on the granite countertop accidentally because he was doing the Heinrich back pedal. And he was so short that he could hit his head on the counter at the wet bar.
Well, it's a good thing he had that helmet on.
Right. And when Luol Deng had the broken wrist or the strained ligaments in his wrist and he had that black tape on, that when we were watching the games, Jason would tape his own wrist up like Luol Deng. And he's like, send that to Luol Deng. I want to show him. So I sent it on Twitter, and even getting a little smiley face emoji back just made it. It was the voice of Stacey King the entire time. And this is one of my biggest hopes here. First of all, I'm just terribly sad. I'm just sad. I'm sad for my friends. I'm sad for everybody who knows him better than I do. I'm sad for Adam Amin. I'm sad for Mark Shanowski. I'm sad for everybody in the Bulls family because Stacey was, in a lot of ways, a larger than life presence, physically and spiritually. The guy, he was just, you knew you were around him. He was so gregarious and just liked people. He liked being around people. He never took basketball too seriously. But I will say this, and it's what's important to me as we remember him or begin to remember him. What's important to me is that we don't lose sight of the fact that amid the catchphrases and amid the emotion and the joking and the singing the nationwide jingle and all that was a really solid basketball mind and very respectable basketball sensibilities. And if you're paying attention, you could learn a lot. He made you a smarter basketball fan. As big a homer as he could be, he never flinched when it came to criticizing the Bulls. And trust me, I watch way more televised Bulls basketball and have my entire life than a lot of people do. And I know among my circle of friends, the subset of people who watch a lot of Bulls basketball. I know who I can text. I know who's going to be watching. And Stacey was never shy about criticizing bad Bulls basketball. I mean, I'll remember the Denzel Valentine call on that three-pointer as much as I'm going to remember the Derrick Rose dunking on Dragic. I'm going to remember.
That was great. I've heard that a lot this week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many great calls. And I'm going to remember when he would, during the Boylan era, the stuff about Robert Horry and Luke Cornett being Robert Horry. Luke Cornett turned a nice player, being Robert Horry. What? Some of those reactions. How much fun when he and Adam would get off on a tangent in the middle of some lost basketball game. I thought especially, and I called this out when we were talking to Adam, that he and Stacey did really, really good work at the end of this year.
Yeah, you said that a lot. You said that it was like a Bulls podcast happening during a game.
when they were starting to talk about the direction of the franchise, where they wanted to go, what it meant to see other teams developing young, athletic, above the rim, multi-talented players, the ability to switch a lot of different screens. Stacey really knew the game. I'll the quick anecdote I've told before, but I'm going to tell it again today about what made sort of Stacey unforgettable and larger than life to me was that when we were in college over the summer, we used to play pickup games at Multiplex in Deerfield, right at the corner of Lake Cook and Waukegan Road. I think it's now the Saks Center. I believe that's where the Sky were practicing before, but pre-Berto Center, before that giant fortress of the Berto Center was built, the
Machine Center.
Bulls practiced at the Multiplex, and we'd play out there, and they were all in like a little private area in the back. And one time after practice, Stacey walked out. These are the like champion Bulls. They're the first three-peat Bulls. They were already a huge thing. And Stacey comes out. He was doing some work in the back court there. We're running cross court 4-on-4s. And we're like, hey, it's Stacey King. Hey, Stacey. Hey. And he comes over and it's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run some stuff. We're going to run some Bulls stuff. Like, what? He's like, yep. We want to learn triple post offense? Like, hell yeah. So he's like, okay. You're over there. We're this is my team. You're going to play defense. I'll switch it up later. And he took, 15, 20 minutes out of his day. He just finished up his own work and he comes over and he shows us pinch post. And it's like, okay, those are the pinch post actions. Here's the split post action. And like, okay, this is open action. This is if you had a flex cut. Okay. And it demystified a lot of this stuff. It was so funny because as we're doing split post, and it's like, okay, you see this? And here's show it over here. Now, if you clear, I can make this pass, and I'm going to turn you to. He said, no, don't turn over that shoulder. You want to turn over this shoulder because it's a shorter path. Like, okay. And he says, now, if I can get it here, if you're the weak side baseline cutter, you've got an alley-oop. And I said, trust me, Stacey, Ginsburg does not have an alley-oop. He might have something, but you can lob it up there, but he's just going to say, oh, there's a basketball up there. So it was just really fun to how seeing it through their eyes of what the geometry was of thinking, I'm here, not even looking at the corner of the backboard for where you want to put the ball. It was not something that we knew in our basic basketball vocabulary. But it was, I really remember that. Just something he didn't have to do. Nobody asked him to do it. He wasn't paid to do it. He just did. And the anecdotes about him when he says on Twitter, something, yeah, come down before the game and I'll give you a picture. He follows through on all that stuff. It's my daughter's birthday. She's a huge fan. She made a sign. Bring her down before the game. There's a line of people there. He related to children wonderfully, and that says something about you when kids naturally like you. It means something, and it means because he smiles, he is this sort of larger than life. He can be silly, he could be serious, and he's going to be nearly impossible to replace. He leaves a large space right now. He leaves a huge void that is going to be very difficult to fill. And that is a discussion for another time. It's not important right now. What's important is grieving the loss of somebody who had a huge presence in the Bulls family.
Yeah, for me, Dan, Stacey will always be, I'll think of Stacey more as a player because, and I'll be honest, during his broadcast time, I've been more of a fair weather Bulls fan and better seasons and playoff time. So respected all the work that he's done and what he brought to the broadcasts as a really smart former player. But I think of Stacey as a player during the 90s when I was all locked in on watching Michael and his Bulls win championships. Stacey, though, there's two things that impacted me, and you mentioned it with Jason, that he was the voice of Jason's Bulls fandom.
Mhm.
Our guy Cody put out a post about Stacey's passing, and he said those words, that he was the voice of the Bulls for him. And Cody's a 35-year-old guy. Jason's 21. That impacted me. That meant a lot. And I can relate to that with other people and other sports in my life that were the voices of my teams. I learned baseball by listening to Steve Stone, I mean, so that was impactful. To read what Cody said about that, that was impactful. To hear you say that about your son, that's impactful. But
it's so funny. Coincidentally, he's texting me as we speak. It's 7 hours later where he is.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he just said, "Still can't believe Stacey died. I'm devastated."
Yeah.
And
so
on Wednesday, we'll talk about that. And, it'll be a different perspective, but we'll talk about that on OWC Wednesday.
Yeah, but to hear that, it's really meaningful to hear that about his work as a broadcaster. For me, I go back to being a college student at Moody and getting press credentials and going to the Berto Center. And I mean, these guys, they gave us so much time and attention. BJ, Corey Blunt, John Paxson, Stacey King took pictures with us.
Which you're not supposed to do with a press credential.
Not supposed to do, but
Yeah.
we didn't care. We were college students, and we weren't trying to be serious about it. We were over the moon that we were there, and we got to go to Hallis Hall. But Stacey gave us so much time and took photos with us, and it was just, he couldn't have been nicer. And the way he treated us, me and my buddy Craig, he treated us like we were 20-year veterans in Chicago media covering the NBA. And he really deferred to us. It was incredible. I'll never forget the way he acted towards us.
Mhm.
And a lot of those guys, the guys' names I just mentioned, were too kind with their time. But Stacey went above and beyond, and he had absolutely no reason to do it. And I'll never, ever, I got to find the picture of it. It's somewhere in my pictures, but I'll never forget that experience, that moment with him. But it's not for me a broadcaster thing. It's a player and a guy that I had a personal connection with, even though it was a very small, fleeting moment. That's something I'll never forget, never have.
The very last Rockford Lightning game I ever attended was the championship game against Dave Yeager's Dakota Wizards that Stacey King coached. And Stacey coached the Lightning to the championship. It was a single game championship game. And that's when Dickie Simpkins was actually the starting center on the Lightning. And Dakota was good. They had, you remember Miles Simon from Arizona? When they won the national championship.
Oh, yeah.
Undersized guard.
Yes.
One of those little tweener types who probably might have found some footing in the league now in a different way than the way it was played then. But I went to that game.
God, he's 50 years old, Dan.
Who? Miles Simon?
Miles Simon. Jesus.
Yes, we're old, dude. We're old.
God, I don't like it.
I'm going to be 57 in 2 weeks.
Oh, he was born in Stockholm. I didn't know that.
Miles Simon was?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. That came full circle. But I remember going to that game and feeling happy for Rockford basketball because I invested 3 years in trying to build it up and being their PR guy and being the biggest Rockford Lightning fan and supporter and trying to make everyone out there, trying to sell group tickets and trying to sell sponsorships and ads in the printed program. And I sold the blimp. I sold the indoor blimp to Butita Brothers Auto. I remember that one. But it was a proud moment that the Lightning were in the championship and that Stacey King was coaching them. And I went, saw him before the game. I sat courtside with a couple of old NBA scout buddies, watching some of the guys there. And Stacey could coach. This was not just a guy, like he probably, I think, if he wanted to, he could have been a really coachy analyst. But I do think the one thing that Mark Brady helped develop in Stacey was finding the balance between the silly and the fun and the catchphrases and the "where's my poster machine?"
It's hot sauce.
Yeah, he created a literal hot sauce and a whole podcast around it. I'll say this too, that for a while, OWC and Give Me the Hot Sauce were sort of sister podcasts together under the Odyssey banner with Odyssey 2400 Sports.
Mm-hmm.
And they since went on and moved the podcast to a different network. Obviously, we now have our podcast going. But there was a time when it was, Stacey and Mark, and we were talking about doing some crossover stuff between the pods. But he created a real big footprint for himself with a lot of that, and had a very solid understanding of what that meant from a personal marketing and branding position to have the bully pulpit to say, give me the hot sauce. Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook? I mean, you still do some of that stuff, and I can't believe it's gone. I can't believe for somebody that vital to at 59 it's unfair. It's unfair. And my sympathy and my condolences go out to everyone for whom he's important, whether personally or from an audience relationship perspective. It just really sucks. And I can't even begin, and I haven't really begun to start thinking about how they fill those enormous shoes, because it's a big void. It creates a large empty space in the world of Bulls fans right now at a transitional time for the organization in general. So rest in peace, Stacey King. It's too bad, and I'm very, very sad about it. I'm very sad about it. I don't know. I hope that his friends and family can emerge from this, find some kind of peace. It's hard, and I was talking to someone last night, and I hate having to say this all the time, but these life is very, very special and very, very short, and we shouldn't need reminders and the whole keeping it in perspective, because the whole point of this is to not have to have things to always keep it in perspective. And that means tell your loved ones you love them, give people hugs, be nice to people. And most of the time, at least, it's me we're talking about here. So, and know that everybody's going through something. Everybody's got something. Just take a deep breath, give people a little bit of grace. It's hard out there, man. And these are even when things are hard, these moments are really, really precious. We've got that NBA game tonight. I certainly did not have the Knicks up 2-0. I just didn't see it coming, but they've played brilliantly, and somehow Jalen Brunson keeps finding angles, and they just seem to stay close enough that when they make their run, they can squeeze you at just the right times. And now they're coming home. Big night tonight. And let's just talk about the reality of what's going on. We know that King Shithead is going to be there. So they have decided that there's the outdoor party where there's none of that. No, clear all the riffraff out, move everybody out. And it reminds me of like when Ali fought Foreman. If you've ever seen When We Were Kings, that incredible documentary about the Rumble in the Jungle, and Mobutu Sese Seko at that time was like, round up the usual suspects and throw them all in prison. And there's like a giant prison. I think Cody is there too, actually. I think Cody was in Croatian baseball prison. And I think he's also in Zairian boxing prison right underneath the entire stadium there. So they're gonna round up all the Knicks fans. They're gonna throw them in prison, and they're gonna allow King Shithead to come and be seen. So this is the debate that we were having about, because everybody's gonna be watching. Are people booing? Well, I mean, that if the approval is like 33%, so 2 out of every 3 would likely be booing. But the question is, would they show it? Do they mess with the audio to not show it? Because this has all happened in the past, like with the Olympics and the Canadians. And so I think this subset of people changes the actual math. If this were a regular season Knicks game, just a normal Tuesday night Knicks game or Saturday night Knicks game, whatever it is, in Madison Square Garden, yeah, we know exactly what the reaction would be. However, I think the get-in price is like $5,000. It's crazy.
No, it is. You're right about that, Dan. Yeah. But I've got to disagree that if you think that the regular, average, everyday Knicks fan isn't going to claw, scratch, do whatever they need to do to get away to watch this team.
Yeah, but they've been outside.
I know. I mean, they're
$5,000 for a ticket to get in the building. It's like $43,000 to sit courtside.
I know, man. I mean, I'm not gonna take that much away from Knicks fans from doing whatever they need to do to make it happen.
Selling kidneys.
Oh man, selling kids,
selling children, selling other people's kidneys, harvesting other people's kidneys to sell them. Yeah, Knicks fans might be on this, but that's only part of it when we're trying to anticipate, and it's all stupid. It's all ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm doing this tongue in cheek.
I know.
For the most part, obviously, because it's hard not. Otherwise, you go crazy.
Oh, you can't take it too serious because there's too much happening.
Here is, and maybe this is stuff that I can say that other people can't, but this is another truth to when we're talking about who's going to be represented in that building. If you're talking about people who can find the money for a ticket in New York, first of all, Knicks fans, then of those Knicks fans, people who have the money or can find the money. And then it obviously depends. You're not talking about the upper level. If you're talking about the lower level is what you're going to see and maybe hear, because that's where the mics are.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about what the prices are on that level. $10,000 for the area that you'd actually probably hear better.
Yeah, what one seat down there is probably equivalent to 1 month's rent in New York.
Yeah.
8, 10, 12 grand.
The rent is too damn high.
Yes, it is.
But here's the thing, though. Of that subset, you're going to have a disproportionate number politically of single-issue Israel voters. This is New York. No matter what they think about everything else, you're going to have a disproportionate number of people at this game who could easily be single-issue Israel voters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of them. I want to be very clear about that. That no, thank you. That crowd is not for me.
Okay. But, I get where you're going here.
You know what I mean? So that's, I would just think that's a mitigating factor in what we might, and I'm not going to get hung up on it. I'm not going to spend time on it because
let's leave it at that. Yeah.
Leave it at that. But the basketball for me is fascinating right now. The basketball itself is really interesting. I did not expect Karl Anthony Towns to play like this. I didn't expect and you know what? I think this was brought up. Richard Jefferson might have said this in the last game. And I was watching and thinking back on it. I may agree with him. Do we have the referees for tonight, by the way? Is this the Scott Foster crew again? If it's the Scott Foster, Jim Capers crew or the Tony Brothers crew, because I thought Tony let it slip a little. He's great ref. I thought that it wasn't quite as tight with the consistency of officiating.
It was not. You're correct.
It didn't feel like they had the same kind of handle on the game that the Foster and Capers crew had. But at one point, I think Richard Jefferson noted, it's great that we celebrate playoff physicality, and that there was some 90s shit going on in the last couple games. It was maybe too physical.
All right, here's the assignments for tonight. Okay. The crew chief is Mark Davis.
Okay.
John Goebel.
Oh.
Curtis Blair and Nick Bouchard.
All right, different crew. I will be interested to see how the consistency of the officiating, what constitutes a foul and what doesn't, because they are bumping, holding, punching, tackling. As long as we know that it's murder ball out there, seriously, like that's when you want to sit courtside. When you're seeing the impacts and hearing the impacts, where every screen is an ordeal, where every shot that goes up, Wemby's got elbows in his neck, and they are punishing him, and they're being allowed to. It's happening both ways. Keldon Johnson is just, trying to run over everybody, run through everybody too. But at some point, a foul's a foul. And I'd love to see some freedom of movement rather than this grabby, like late 80s, early 90s stuff. I don't want to hear anybody who's been saying they don't play defense anymore. These people haven't been, watched a game for 35 years. And it's like, it's all 3-pointers. They don't play defense. It's not the way it used to be. If anything, it has been too physical. Because it started out all right, but it's getting more than grabby. There's no room to operate. And sure, it's because they're bigger and longer and more interchangeable and more switchable. But one thing I wouldn't mind seeing tonight from the Spurs would be increasing the distances of their sets, because I think their young players have enough speed in Castle, Harper underused in this series. He's fearless, man.
That dude is so good, man.
Fearless. He's 22.
I know.
He's 22. Fearless. And I think that that if they just open their angles a little bit, pull everything back a couple steps, instead of being so tightly packed, make some of the Knicks defenders cover more distances, make it harder to help and get back, and give your fast players more runway. Give your fast guys, pull it back a little bit, because if you're in that tight, your speed doesn't matter as much. I would like a little wider angles on everything. Sort of like when a pass rush will move their edge defenders out to take advantage of their speed and in the 8 technique or 9 technique, and allow them to get a little more. They're further away, but they get much more of an angle to use their speed. I think some of the young legs and the relentless athleticism of especially a guy like Castle and his rebounding and what he can do and the space that he can cover, because Wemby's long enough that he isn't going to be hindered. It's like, I'm another half a stride. I can cover 10 feet to go get to the basket from here. So there's some fascinating tactical possibilities tonight that interest me greatly.
Now, we talked about it before the series started, about what the Knicks offensively would do with Jalen Brunson if they would use Wemby's guy to do some kind of screen. And we talked about and debated the pros and cons of going both ways, kind of separating Jalen from Wemby on the floor.
Right.
What have you seen in the first couple games and how they've approached that?
Well, it's what I found interesting is if they're able to get Wemby away, how hard they work to keep him from getting back to the basket.
Yes.
Like that's it's so much of the Gortat screening and so much of the plowing away after an initial screen is set. You'll see Cat and you'll see Mitchell Robinson. Then like the Gortat screen is a way where you almost pretend like you're posting up, but you're actually pushing your guy away from the basket to give Brunson more space. And that's what you're seeing. It's referred to as the Marcin Gortat screen because the Polish Hammer, when he was in Washington, popularized some of this. It's a European move where a big man will in where it looks like, oh, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. I've got my man on my back. You're actually moving backward, pushing, sealing, and you seal Wemby out of there. So keep an eye on what happens after the ball screen. Does the big then position himself in a way to create more room for Brunson to go to work?
Yeah, and what I've been really impressed with watching Brunson too these first couple of games, and I know he's this has been what he does, but haven't watched a whole ton of Knicks basketball. But when he looks like he shouldn't get a good shot off by the position of his body,
yeah,
and he does, and
that's what he does.
The positioning of his body doesn't impact his mechanics or his release of the basketball. And it's like, that shouldn't be that good of a shot. Why is that shot that good of a shot? His body's not in the right position.
His shoulders are. Even if his waist is pointing the wrong way, everything.
Yes, it's really fascinating to see.
He breaks what you're taught in basketball is always look at the belt buckle.
Mm-hmm.
Never look at the eyes. Don't look at the feet. Always look at the belt buckle, because a body cannot move without the belt buckle being pointed where you're going. But when he stops and shoots, very often his upper body, his shoulders are going to rotate in a way where he's getting stuff off and moving laterally and then being able to stop and pop immediately.
Yeah,
because some of the fallaways, the high arcing fallaways.
That's where you see it a lot is in those. And it's weird because like his shoulders and his hips, they look like, there's the one actor who's got he's got two eyes going different directions all the time. The one older guy, I'll find it what movie he was in, but it's like his shoulders.
Vincent Schiavelli?
Yes, thank you. His shoulders.
Wait, hold on a second. You're making a Jalen Brunson Vincent Schiavelli?
Yes, because his hips and his shoulders are like looking two different directions.
That's the guy from Ghost. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yes. It's like, hey,
okay,
are you running left or running right? Because your shoulders are going one way, your hips are going another. What's happening?
Yeah, that's
so
what you have.
Stand in front and trying to talk to the guy, and you're like, "Hey, are you over here? I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm over here."
You're doing the Rodman. Yeah. Dennis, I can't understand you. I don't know what you're talking about. But now see, to me, I'm gonna fetishize this game tonight too. I got to come up with like a perfect little dinner.
Well, you ruined it. McDonald's was the dinner to go with.
No, last night was just right.
No, because you don't want to take time to cook and clean and have to worry about that. You want something set right. Oh, here's what you need. I know what you need. I'm going to tell you right now.
For tonight's
dinner, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're gonna start thinking about it. And by the time we finish Forward Progress, you're gonna be very hungry.
I hope you're right. Fire away.
If I get the name incorrect, I apologize. But number one chop suey, or where do you go?
Well, they're different things. Sometimes number one chop suey because they have crispy duck and they have shrimp toast. But Wasun is my main.
House of
Wasun.
That's what you need tonight. You need delivery. That's what you need. You need Chinese takeout.
So that means barbecue pork chow fun.
Yep.
And Szechuan eggplant. Ooh, maybe I get Beth into it, and because she'll have half the Szechuan eggplant.
Yeah, that's what you need to order. You don't want to cook. Don't go to the store. Don't worry about cleaning up and making any. Like, you need something delivered to you that it's going to satisfy you and make your belly happy while your head and your eyes and your brain are very happy watching basketball.
Yeah. Get all that umami and the sodium.
You are welcome.
You know what I'd like to do though? What usually makes me feel better? Somebody, if somebody buys a Cameo video from me, I kind of look at that and I'm like, I could do a Cameo video and that would cover ordering in tonight. So usually that's sort of my little excuse to order because it's so expensive.
It is expensive, and then you have it delivered.
Everything.
Yeah,
everything
is
crazy.
But Dan, it's Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
I know.
Just do it. Splurge a little bit.
I know.
Don't go to the store. Just go order. Yeah, order that.
You think
that's
so?
what you should do. Yes. I think that would make
barbecue
you
pork
happy.
chow fun, Szechuan eggplant, hot and sour soup.
I want you to think about that meal in your brain for the rest of this recording, the rest of Forward Progress. So by the time we're done recording,
you know how I do this.
Yes, you're good to go.
All right, and I've got a lot of. I need the calories because yesterday 6 hours of house cleaning. Yesterday.
Oh yeah, you cleaned out the basement, right?
I don't know. She finally wore me down.
Is that a great feeling though when you empty out the house?
But I agree. She said, "Are you going fishing?" And I said, "No, I'm going to go on Saturday. I fished the river Saturday." And she's like, "It's supposed to rain tomorrow." She said, "Please, please, please. Can we take a day and just clean all the crap out of the basement? Closets, I mean, we've been in this house 21 years, and there was stuff there from like when Jason was born, and like stuff we're moving out of there, stuff we're throwing out, and toys and plastic, and I made 5 dumpster runs. 5. Never want to have the dumpster runs, by the way. Those are bad for you. Go to a doctor if you get the dumpster runs. It's not quite exploding taint syndrome, but it's bad.
No, but that's what it leads to.
Yeah, you can, unchecked, untreated. So I just look, we're just going to keep taking it. I said, you point to something and you say, if this is all garbage, I'm going to take it upstairs. I'm going to put it in your car. I'm going to drive 5 full SUV seats down of just stuff to be thrown out.
Okay.
I think we did a really good job confronting all of the sentimental stuff. She only cried twice. And we set rules ahead of time. We before we even started cleaning, we set ground rules. No yelling at each other. We're going to suspend all like basic courtesies of like please and thank you and all that we just for time's sake, that we're just, we're shouting orders at each other. That's fine. But no yelling, no getting angry. And then when in doubt with the sentiment, when in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah, you should just apply the 90-day rule. If something hasn't moved in 90 days, it's not going to be used. Toss it.
No. Yeah. This is Janice Bernstein's son.
Now, I mean, now we're
90 years is closer. No,
I mean, but take out like like very specific holiday decorations that might sit for a time for how. Yeah, but if something so. I kind of look at we
found Zoe's first Seder plate that she made.
Okay, you don't need it. You don't need it.
We threw it down. We hit because we
toss it. That kind of stuff. You ask your adult daughter, "Do you want this?" And if she says no, then you throw it away.
Well, that's what my parents finally did. Is they boxed everything up from like my old bedroom and their basement and said, "Put it in your house."
Yeah, either you take it or you throw it away. One of the two things. So I kind of have the garage as my space, and if I look at something like a certain ball or whatever type of sporting equipment that has.
We haven't done the sporting equipment yet. We haven't done that.
It's gone.
That's a different project.
Yeah, toss it, man. Don't be a hoarder.
Do you know how many baseballs we have?
I'm down to 2 buckets of balls. I have two buckets. That's it.
Okay,
one that I actively use. The other one I haven't touched.
It's like finding another baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Or
have you seen a baseball?
And then when you find the blue little, you find the little like the blue puck, the mites, the lighter puck that the mites use, and I found one of those, and it said like
but Dan, keeping the physical item doesn't erase your memories.
So you're 100%. No, I felt great afterwards. We felt
like a big house dump is like a nice big,
yes, it's
dump.
A dump.
Yes.
It's a big house dump. Yes. And then she and I look at each other and like, we got to get out of this house. This is way, way, way too much house. But nobody can afford to because everybody's got like a 2.9 mortgage rate after all the refis. And you look where the rate's now. It's like you can't even all our neighbors whose kids are all grown. It's like we'd love to move on with our lives.
Yeah, because what is it over 7 now? What is it? It's
whatever it is. It ain't 2.9 or wherever we are with it. It's some ridiculously low number. So everybody's stuck. And then the people who are Zoe's age or older who are looking to get out of there, everybody's getting screwed. So that's a different issue. It's
the economy's fine. Everything's fine. We're all winning. It's great. So
one thing that I know is awesome about our house. One thing I know that's great. That has been changed for the better because we didn't do it because Russ Armstrong did it are the windows. We got new windows everywhere from Russ Armstrong and Chicago window guys. And when I say that it was painless, I mean it. And it will be for you too, because you've got this whole idea of this ordeal. Like, all right, now we got to price all this out and get all these different competing bids. And you can do that. Or you can just make it easy and call Russ and he can come out to the house and he can look around. He can tell you, here's what windows usually cost. Here's what we can do. You got a special thing here. We'll do this here. What do you actually need? I'm not going to sell you more than you need. And the other thing, Russ isn't going to take hours and hours of your time because he doesn't have to report to anybody else. He runs everything. It's his decisions, his companies, his factory. So you don't have to go there and have him be like, well, I'll submit this to somebody and I'll talk to my manager. It's not the way it works with him. And then you find a date that's right for installation. He'll tell you, hey, I made all the windows custom for your house. When can our people be out there? And then it's done and it's clean. And you look at your heating and cooling bills. You're like, oh, windows. That's why the house is holding its temperature better. Okay, there's never a bad time to do it. So call Russ. He'll match any price. You don't have to fall for one of these gimmicks that you hear about buy one, get one free and all this stuff from other places. Call 847-302-9171 and check out his 5-star reviews at chicagowindowguys.com. We talked a lot on Off the Ivy about the Cubs and where they are and all that. And yeah, last night's Cubs outcome sucked and a lot of their performance sucked. But NBC has figured out a way to make a baseball broadcast, a national baseball broadcast that respects the intelligence of the audience and not only passes the bare minimum threshold of not making you dumber, that broadcast makes you smarter. You have Jason Benetti overseeing everything as the primary voice. And then you have Jim DeShays there doing the Cubs game.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter Pence, who's really good. And I actually thought Anthony Rizzo did a very good job with what they were asking of him. Talk about what you would be thinking about. Go through the pitching sequencing. What are you seeing? Why are you seeing it? How are you anticipating? What are you like? I thought the way they used him was great.
Well, that's all JB, man. He sets him up with great questions to get the most out of him. And I want to applaud Rizzo for keeping his shirt on. So good job there, pal. Way to go.
All right. That's the victory, is that Anthony Rizzo is. But the fact is that, and then Benetti can go to some silly stuff and go to some historic stuff and show Jim DeShays striking out 8 Dodgers in a row. And
that was great. He was like, DeShays was like, I was a real slow starter. And then like, all right, well, here's the video of you striking out the first 8 Dodgers. What do you have to say to that, JD?
Oh,
like, well, the Dodgers weren't interested that day.
Yeah, every dog has its day. Dodgers weren't interested. I only struck out 2 other people in the complete game, so I don't know what that was. But it was such a joy. It's such a great hang. A baseball game should be a good hang. And that's what it was. It was like your really smart friends were sitting in your house.
Yeah.
You're really smart, interesting, funny. And then they go to Bob Costas. He's got thoughts on some things, happens to be there. Everything was kind of woven in nicely. Everything looked great. And their sound mix, there was an emailer actually that pointed that out. The Fox sound mix with the over-pumped crowd, NBC doesn't do that. NBC has a perfect, and maybe it's also because Wrigley Field was very quiet. And you could feel, you could feel the soul get sucked out of there when Alcantara gets picked off and or doubled off, and when Ballesteros gets doubled off. You could just everything's like. Ah.
Yeah, I know I think they're. What did we say? They're going away for 6 days. They got a 6-game. Yeah, Colorado, and then the Giant. I don't even remember, but I wouldn't mind if it was like a 12-game road trip just to get out.
Yeah, we need some time away.
It's sick. Yeah, it's funny, Dan, because I was saying the other day, I'm not done with this team. I'm not breaking up with them for this 2026 season, but I need some space right now.
I get it.
I need some space. Like let's take some time away, and you do your thing. I'm going to do my thing for a little bit, and let's reconnect after a little while.
Yeah, no,
even where we stand.
Even if it's something you enjoy most in life, you don't appreciate it until you take a little bit of just a little bit of distance. Like I took yesterday off from fishing.
Oh, you did?
And because I was hurting because a lot of the stuff I do around the river is climbing and there's a lot of rocks and I've been bruised and beaten and
I get that because 15 years with you, I needed like 8 years away. I was bruised and
did
beaten.
It not work?
Yeah, and it's great. It's great.
See?
You finally changed and now I can be with you again.
Yeah. See? It's just patience is all it is. Same thing we're doing with Alex Bregman and Swanson. It just maybe 8 years later we'll come back and these old grizzled guys will be ready to play solid baseball again. But then I took the day off and she's like, yeah, can you spend 6 hours carrying all of this stuff up from the basement and driving it to a dumpster and dumping it in a dumpster?
Well, you probably got hurt less yesterday. You got attacked less by birds?
Yes. And I faced them down. Thank you for reminding me.
Did you go looking for them?
I went to the same spot.
Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to see if they had it in them again. Like, you got me once. And they did. I found the same pair, and I heard the noises. They saw me coming, but I stared them down this time. Like, all right, I'm here. Come get me.
I'd like to hear that conversation between the two birds. They're probably like, can you believe this motherfucker's here again? What is wrong with this guy?
They didn't follow me as far either. So maybe they're like, yeah, we humbled him. We made him hit the deck. He fell on a rock. He hurt himself. Or maybe what's even worse is...
Did you dress in that giant bird costume you bought online?
No, I think that they have me categorized as less than a threat. I think what happened was they saw, like, we flew at this guy's face and he fell down and hurt himself. Don't worry about him. Because they're like, oh, it's you. Oh, you're not worth our time.
That's exactly good call. Yeah, they realize that you are not a threat. We don't have to worry about this guy. Oh, it's just that Bernstein guy.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's, we know him. That's the guy that got scared when we buzzed the tower and hit him in the head a bunch of times and he fell down.
Yeah, he's the guy thinking they're like, he's the guy thinking the Bears aren't going to Indiana. He's an idiot. Let's leave him alone. How do you feel now, Bernstein, about the Bears leaving for Indiana? Yeah, exactly.
They
the
are?
Birds are getting after you. Didn't you see the news? Oh, we'll talk about it in Forward Progress.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about on Forward Progress.
It's a done deal. You didn't hear it? Done deal. They are going to Indiana, man. They are the Indiana Bears.
Thankfully, the Tribune still exists to the point where they can write a front page story that frames the news truthfully. They can read past what they're being told and say, wait a second here.
Yeah, let's Forward Progress. Let's save it.
There's no commitment whatsoever. Hold on a second. But anyway, more of that from NBC and more smart baseball coverage to make us understand the game better. That was a really, really nice experience, other than another crappy Cubs outcome.
Well, help me out real quick though too, because you can be more objective than I can on things. I love the way Jason Benetti sounds, and I also we have that personal connection with Jason, so it's always going to be good to me, regardless of, I analyze it differently because it's like, oh, it's Benetti, yeah, it's going to be great. You know what I mean?
That's our intern,
right? It's like that's our guy. That's our intern. That's our buddy, and he's he's 1,000 times better at anything that I could ever do. So I'm gonna love it regardless. But he's just really good.
He's not 1,000 times better at anything you could ever do.
Oh yeah, he is. He's a hell of a
like guy. Walking.
Well, and I am sober, so yeah, I haven't over 2 years alcohol free. So yeah, I guess I'm better at walking. So
yeah, you could beat him in a race if that makes you feel better.
Well, I don't know, man. I get hurt walking up the stairs, so we'll see.
Okay, I didn't say you could do it uninjured. I'm just saying that I just want to make sure we define our limitations.
Yeah, you're right, Jason.
On some of these
things.
Would
agree with you on that.
Yeah,
but it makes me so happy though, just to see him on TV, to hear him, and I just I wish he was still, even though I'm not a fan of the team, I wish he was still on the other side of town. It's unfortunate.
I know, but I can get over that and just enjoy the fact that he is on my TV.
Yes.
I didn't want to ruin it by lamenting the fact that he should be there instead of Doofus doing the White Sox games. And you know what? Just while we're on that, just make Connor McKnight the full-time guy.
We got a lot of people that responded to us about that.
There.
Yes, it's right there for you.
It's right there. Just say, bye-bye, Doofus. Connor McKnight, here you go. Here's the big chair. What more does he have to do?
I don't know.
Other than lucid, cogent, smart, funny, aware, and able to use statistics without hitting you over the head with stuff. Like everything he needs right there. Just make the move.
Not only that too, but like the talking about the team on the other side of town in the middle of your broadcast while your team is having a spectacular season for what they're at right now. It's really pathetic, is what it is, and your fans deserve better.
Yep,
they just do.
Yep,
they really do.
That to me, that's the easiest move in town. Is just install. I don't know whether it's the end of this year, whatever it is. Just be like, all right, here's your guy. And he's absolutely ready for it. And then he and however long Stone wants to do this, and then it'll be Beckham. And you could have a really smart, fun broadcast for an up-and-coming team that's got a lot of really interesting, exciting players on
it. Is it Beckham that fills in, or is that Brian Anderson? Brian Anderson does too,
Beckham.
Doesn't he? I thought Brian Anderson did. Maybe my mistake. Yeah,
I've seen Gordo has been the guy doing it, and he's come a long way too. He's getting real close to being ready. So there's been all kinds of growth there, I think. Quick note, that hockey game Saturday night, bad ending.
Yeah, was that the 4-0, 3-0 start? Was that the game? Okay.
It was 4-0 in the third. And they were
yes.
and the Avs, the Avs, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Canes were the first team, if I have this correct, they were the first team to come back to tie when down 4 starting the third. I think it was even down 3 starting third in the Stanley Cup final. It was pretty incredible. And they had 1.3 goals in 39 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm screaming, marching around. And I don't have a rooting interest other than against Carter Hart. And I would love to have seen Carter Hart just wear that. Las Vegas Golden Knights, your goal horn is too loud and too long. The goal horn is bad. We get it, but it's like, turn it off. The Blackhawks have the original first ever goal horn. This thing that they had at the, and there is a story behind it, some open-ended hockey question as to how Bill Wirtz brought it there or wherever, and then they moved it to the United Center, the same original goal horn, and now it's just a thing everywhere. It's like, oh, hockey, score goal, horn goes, sing songs, light goes on, and all that. But that's overkill. That's too much. That's enough.
That's enough.
That's a no good.
That's
stuff.
Too much.
That's a no good.
Okay, it's me, a Mario.
But I don't know if I'm going to watch any more hockey. I just know I was there. It was on. I got into it, and it was fun.
Yeah, and the Golden Knights are up 2-1, so I have them winning the Stanley Cup along with the Spurs were my bet. My heart and emotions were with the Knicks, but I took the Spurs in my bet, and I think that's going to be wrong. I think the Knicks are going to finish this out, and I do have apologies to Gordon Beckham
Yeah, you're talking about Brian Anderson and Gordon Beckham. Yeah.
Brian Anderson has not done any games. I didn't know that he was with the Brewers somehow doing broadcasting, but he does national stuff. So maybe I saw him in a national game. I don't know. But
wait, no. There's two. Are you talking about Brian Anderson, the play-by-play guy, or Brian Anderson, the former White Sox outfielder?
I thought the former outfielder had done some stuff, but he hasn't.
No, because BA is BA. That's national and Brewers Brian Anderson.
But the White Sox guy, he hasn't done anything, has he?
Well, he tried to reinvent himself as a pitcher, and that didn't go well.
Whatever, but
God, he was hilarious.
I'm just going to stay on the White Sox stuff.
Yeah, stay on a White Sox business.
Except for the fact that they need to get rid of their guy. Yeah, outside of that, I got nothing to do with you guys.
Brian Anderson, I'll never forget. He's like, "What are you enjoying about being in the major leagues?" It's all about the honeys. Did you really say that?
He was young.
I know. I mean, obviously it is. I just didn't know you were supposed to say that part. But
look, you shouldn't say it openly because your BP had a different seating section than the ones and girlfriends, and so it was
like don't have this one
talk to this one training in our booth, and we would say, oh, there's the BP section,
and there's the wives,
yes, and girlfriends and stuff.
Right. That is DBU on 312 Sports. We've been brought to you today by Russ Armstrong of Chicago Window Guys, ChicagoWindowGuys.com, 847-302-9171.
Dan Bernstein Unfiltered on 312 Sports.